Should police officers be allowed to hide their identity?
It doesn't fit the time of today to have the name on the uniform anymore. And I recommend that the names come off.
Primary response or police officers who answer radio calls, should the public know exactly who they are? I'm going to talk about this with Ross today. Ross, former police officer, security specialist, and bodyguard to billionaires. You got a heck of an interesting past there, brother. Listen, when I got on the job, people didn't have name tags, and you really, really did your best to hide your identity. Now, police graduations are publicized for all to see. You can watch them online. There's no expectation of privacy. And of course, the elephant in the room is social media. It's changed the game completely. If everybody knew who you were, you couldn't work undercover, you couldn't get into a plainclothes unit, you'd be done. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, things have changed because capabilities have changed, Randy. Yeah, with me, once again, it was a number. But today, with the capability of putting your name, having to have your name visible, you now have databases that are being built on police forces and on cops with people. You'll see them at protests, and I've talked to some cops who have it. They'll walk right up and down. They'll take a picture of their face, then they'll go down to their name tag, and they'll go back up. And they'll even sit there and say, I saw for the NYPD, they're saying, let's name all the cops. Let's name all the cops. We're just doing their job. And you know what? I know what most police really are concerned about is their family members, right? They got kids who are going for medical help somewhere or out of school or getting something, and someone runs the name and they put the two of them together. They dox the home. It doesn't fit the time of today to have the name on the uniform anymore. And I recommend that the names come off, actually. It doesn't mean the police aren't accountable by the number, but the name should come off, in my opinion. Randy, I know in the past you've done a couple of videos on policing in small towns versus big cities, right? The nice thing is in big cities, so many of the cops don't even live in the cities where they're policing. They live, 45 minutes or somewhere out. They're anonymous in their hometown for the most part. But if you're policing in a small town somewhere, everybody knows who you are. Everybody knows where you live. Everybody knows who your family is. It's a different consideration when you're a police officer. It makes the job a whole lot different. It's really 24/7 at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. This is also why I've made videos in the past touching on why police officers shouldn't have to live where they work. That was an argument used by some community groups that police officers should live in the community that they serve. I actually don't agree with that at all. I've shared stories about when I was dating a girl at the time, and we were at a mall, and I was recognized, and there was an incident that I had nothing to do with, but I can't get into the details. However, I learned right there that I can never go with her, and her daughter was there as well. This can never happen again. I went into the city with her. So yeah, you're absolutely right. But listen, facial recognition technology is just look, the cat's out of the bag. Everybody's using it. Police are using it. Government organizations are using it that say they're not using it.
Yeah, Randy, well, this is really the rubber is hitting the road on this. This is California right now. Gavin Newsom, the governor, has a law on his desk to be signed that forbids police from wearing any kind of facial mask or hiding their names and doing things. That's particularly to put the federal ICE officers in danger. And these officers have been doxxed, followed home, had their addresses put up and their pictures put up by people. They're actively being tracked by people. And we're seeing what could be very much danger to police. So I think Gavin Newsom, not good, brother. Not good. You're on the wrong side of history on this one. I don't care what you think. You can't be putting people's lives in danger like that when they're working for the law.
And listen, it's not as if we haven't had similar incidents in Canada, right? Police officers being followed home and such. These are very, very real issues. I remember the changes in social media because it didn't exist when I got on the job. There was no such thing as Facebook or Twitter. They didn't exist. Now, listen, this may sound hypocritical because I have a large social media presence and certainly did as a police officer. However, the first 10 years of my career, I wasn't online at all. I wasn't on social media. I wouldn't have wanted to be on social media at all. I did my best to stay out of photos. That was only the second half of my career that I kind of embraced. And it was because of the position that I had, as a school resource officer and community officer. But the first 10 years of my career, I wouldn't have wanted to be online, nor do I think that other police officers should be online. Like I said, they're broadcasting police graduation events. They're your privacy is gone. It's not like 5 years from now that officer can go into, start working in a plainclothes undercover unit and, or, God knows what. They're done. They're finished.
Yeah, well, it certainly does. If you're going undercover and you've got any sort of social media thing, it's just not going to work. You'll get outed, but it works both ways. I mean, you'll see today in major events, you'll see police vehicles coming through with the facial recognition cameras up on the roof, getting people at events. Certainly the body cams are being caught, capturing everybody's face, doing facial recognition. The citizens now, you're able to get those Meta Ray-Ban sunglasses with AI on them. You can turn them on, you record video, get that.
I did a video on that as well. And let me tell you, yes, there is software they can do facial recognition through some of those smart glasses. Now, not only picture this, okay? Picture a police officer walking down the street, a very, very busy street in the city, and passing dozens and dozens of people. And every time they pass somebody, you can see a little square. Remember the movie Terminator 2, when they're looking at people and it gives all the information? Police officers walking down the street, and you can see all the faces of everybody. If anybody's ever been tagged in a post, if anybody has a presence online and that information's public, the police officer can see what their name is. But now I'm going to take it a step further. That information is also linked to a police database. So that person, you know who they are, you know their name. What are they currently on charges? Are they not supposed to be around that person? Are they not supposed to be in this area? And listen, I'm not talking about the future. I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about here, today, right now.
Yeah, not just the face, but they do that for the license plate recognition, right?
Yeah,
They're
right.
going down the road as a parked car. They can tell who the driver is, any warrants out. This is where the issue gets very cloudy for me, because they did a test before when Blackberries and handheld devices came out. They gave them out to all the cops in New York, and they went around, they did tests with them. But the problem is, when I stop a citizen and I get their name and their date of birth and I start looking them up, what am I going to get? I'm going to get a list of every problem they've ever had in their life, right? You didn't take the book back in high school. You flunked this. You owe some traffic tickets. You were charged but let go here. I don't get anything that says, hey, you were valedictorian. Hey, maybe you saved somebody from a burdened building before. Hey, maybe you're a father with 4 people who looks after an entire scout troop. So all I get is negative information that comes back at you. It doesn't allow me to deal with you as a whole person, which I know was, the intent of when you did all your community social policing. You wanted the cops to be seen as a whole person, not just a robot in blue, but you also wanted people to know that they could be treated as a whole person. And we got to get a bit more back to that than just being a number, Randy, because none of us want to be judged by our worst day. If that's the case, none of us are successful.
You just get negativity back. Anything they've ever done wrong. That's actually a fantastic point. Listen, Ross, thank you very, very much for joining me again today. You're on YouTube at McLean Chronicles. People can find you there. You break down police videos. You talk about politics and power, all kinds of interesting topics that are relevant to people these days. Any last words?
People need wisdom today more than they need rules sometimes. I'll leave it at that.
Thanks, Ross. Good to see you, bud. Thanks for watching Canada Off Script. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if that's more your thing. If you find this content entertaining or helpful at all, please consider subscribing. And until the next one, stay sharp, stay safe, stay Canadian.